Hi, I'm Luke Williams, founder and editor of the XR Beat. I'm joined today by Ori Inbar, co-founder of Augmented World Expo, better known as AWE, and Unite XR Europe. AWE USA 2026 takes place in June in Long Beach, and this year's theme is Spatial, humans empowered by spatial AI. It lands at a pretty lively moment for XR with smart glasses, spatial AI, and enterprise adoption all moving at once. Ori, thanks for joining me.
Hey, Luke, so good to be here.
Before we get into the wider market, Ori, can you set the scene a little bit? So, for people who know AWE by name but maybe haven't been, what kind of event is it now? And why did iSpatial feel like the right theme this year? It reminded me a little bit of iRobot. I don't know if that was intentional or not.
Absolutely intentional, yes. Uh, I'm glad that's the reaction it created. So yeah, AWE has been the first and probably the longest running XR conference since 2010. So it's the 17th year
Wow.
now. Starting out as a very little thing, for a few enthusiasts, and became the main event of the industry with 5,000 attendees, 250 exhibitors from really across the entire ecosystem. So on one hand, it's kind of a family reunion of everyone working in the space, but it's also a reflection of what's happening in the industry.
Yeah.
What people are talking about, the exhibitors, because we try to bring in kind of all the different kinds of things in XR under one roof. So you get kind of a little bit of everything, and that kind of gives you sort of a reflection of what's happening in the industry. And the theme, that's exactly right. I mean, I think we're facing a crossroad, either a future where AI goes rogue, like in iRobot, or
Hopefully not.
we're proposing an alternative, which is iSpatial. Of course, we're not denying AI. AI will be a major part of it, but we want to keep the humans at the center, empowered with spatial AI. So that's what we hope will be the theme for the event, and a lot of the companies will probably touch on that theme.
Hmm. Would you say that it feels a little different this year because AI and XR conversations are sort of joining up a little bit better now?
Oh, absolutely. I think the AI revolution, the latest AI revolution in 2022, 23, started to make an impact on the XR industry. But initially, it was viewed as a tool, something that you can use, to generate things, to accelerate the creation, and so on. But I think at this point, it's so integrated into spatial computing and XR that these two are becoming one and the same. And it's, first of all, in terms of the hardware, a lot of the hardware that is at the center of the announcements this year and the excitement, it's AI glasses, AR glasses, but AI is kind of a strong part of it. And of course, for if you look at the companies exhibiting at AWE, AI is in every single one of them in some way, whether it's to, again, as part of the tool side, or as part of the interaction, or for vibe coding. It's becoming a really major way to create content, to create applications without the need necessarily to be an expert in coding or in design. So I think these things are really creating a whole new landscape for the XR space, and that's why this combination of AI and XR is so critical for everything happening this year.
Inextricably linked, I think, more so now than ever, and certainly moving forward. Just want to touch on one thing you mentioned there, Ori. You talked about hardware, and obviously, XR is a very, it's an exciting, cool, fun, product set. I'd love to be there, demoing these products with you. But do you think that the XR market is starting to enter a more practical phase now, particularly with regards to industry use of XR?
Certainly. Last year, my main theme was that XR is going mainstream. It was a bit controversial because you still see a lot of companies in the space that are struggling to grow their businesses, and it's not all very easy and smooth. But the hardware, the tools, the use cases became pretty mature. and you see it being used across the board, especially in the enterprise market, where it's over 70% of the overall XR market is in enterprise, and that's where you see it being adopted in a big way, and it's driving a lot of the revenue for XR companies. But also on the other side, in terms of the consumer side, you see it being kind of used for gaming, for exercise, for travel. So it's definitely happening there. But then above everything, you see kind of the glasses that we've all been clamoring for. I've been in this for 2 decades. We've been saying that once we get to the glasses stage, that's when everything is really going to blow. And it feels like we're in the midst of that kind of big change with the initial adoption of a lot of the AI glasses and smart glasses and AR glasses that are coming to market this year and next year. It feels like it's really happening, and that will completely change the landscape.
And just to stay on that point about enterprise buyers, do you think that they're asking tougher commercial questions than they were a few years ago?
I think one thing is clear. The use cases are very clear. I mean, every day you discover new ones, but there's some very stable, mature use cases with proven ROI that are attached to it. So I don't think in many enterprises out there, there's no question whether it makes sense to use it. The question is really becoming now, how do you scale it? How do you manage it across the entire enterprise? So it's a very different discussion than the initial discussion we had, in the past decade, maybe, which is, is it really worth it, or where do I use it? I think these questions are completely answered by now.
By practical use cases. Okay, and then on that theme, so obviously the AWE theme is spatial AI, as we spoke about. So what does that look like in practice? And can you give one practical example of spatial AI being useful rather than just impressive, in a demo or a conference?
So yeah, I mean, on one hand, spatial AI is kind of just trying to capture this link between XR and AI, which we talked about before. But I always think about it kind of more abstractly as sort of a cloud of intelligence that surrounds you, that you can interact with, visually, using sound, voice, and gestures. And anywhere you go, whether it's work or life, it helps you achieve what's in front of you. So what AI is adding to this picture is a much better understanding of what's happening around you, and giving you advice, on how to do things, on what to do things, and also in the interaction itself. It's a lot more intuitive than it used to be, where you had to, use gestures or certain interactions that were not as intuitive. I think it's solving that problem as well. But if you ask, for practical examples, I think where you can see those right now is in the different hackathons that are happening around the world.
Yeah.
The Meta and other glasses companies, they came up with kind of standard things like, what your message is, or see the map, and so on. And these are cool, but I think the more interesting things is what people are building right now, that the SDKs, the tools are now open for developers, and they're now creating content that is interesting and relevant for every person out there. Anything from like how to manage or grow my plants at the home, or how do I play a certain game that involves both physical reality as well as some digital content, right? So things that we're kind of discovering every day, and with the reduction of the friction in terms of creation content, again with vibe coding for XR, it allows basically anyone out there, any developer, to become what we call a builder. They can build content, they can build prototypes much faster, without the need for large investments, and that's completely changing how we kind of think about content in this spatial AI era.
Great example. I really like that. Okay, let's just change tact for a minute. I want to talk. Well, first of all, I'll give you an example. I wear these glasses just for daily life. I have a pair of reading glasses, and then when I'm playing sport, I have contact lenses. Where am I going with this? I think I've seen you speak about people wearing devices for specific reasons rather than wearing one all-day face computer for everything. So, do you think, Ori, in your expert opinion, that that is the most realistic path for smart glasses over the next few years? Am I going to have half a dozen pairs that I put on and change, day to day, hour to hour for different purposes?
I absolutely think so. Yeah, I think it's the most realistic path for the next few years. I mean, eventually, maybe yes, we'll have one device that can do it all. But now there's sort of an obsession of having this kind of all day face device in the industry, and I think that's kind of a bit of a misnomer. It's not the right thing to focus on right
Mm.
now, because just like you said, I mean, most people today they switch between different glasses. I have sunglasses to when there's sun outside or just to look cool. I have reading glasses. I don't wear prescription glasses for day to day, so I constantly switch. And if I do some work, I may put on some protection glasses or maybe sport glasses when I ride my bike or whatever, right? So already using
Mm.
different things for different purposes. And I think the same applies here. Now, it doesn't mean that every one of us needs to buy now, like as many devices as I have behind me to go through the day. But you pick the one thing that is the most relevant for you. So if you're a sports guy and you constantly on you run or you ride a bike or whatever, then you buy the glasses that are best for this kind of use case. If you're more into play, buy glasses or maybe a mixed reality headset that best supports that thing, right? Or exercise and so on. So I think yes, at this point we're at a stage where we wear for a purpose, and that means that the hardware that you buy has to, and the content associated with it has to be ideal for that specific use case.
Mm. Fascinating. I think I agree with that as well, Ori. I really do. Okay, so let's stay on the topic of glasses. I noticed in the past few days that Evan Spiegel has been announced as the headline speaker for AWE, which is fantastic for you guys, and it feels like it's a strong moment and shows how important AR glasses within the XR space. What do you think, Ori, Snap needs to show with specs this year? And then a follow up question is: do you think the platform around specs is more important than the hardware itself?
Uh, the answer is yes. Yeah, I mean, we're super thrilled to have Evan keynote at the event. It's one of the biggest companies in XR, and the CEO
Mm.
is here on stage, showing the commitment of the company and the commitment to the space. I mean, Snap started, in what 2010 or 11 as a camera first company, and then they extended it to an AR company, initially on mobile and now on smart glasses, and that's I think a huge signal for the entire industry. Last year Evan was on stage and basically said that he announced that they will launch a new consumer-oriented smart glasses, AR glasses, this year. So we don't know if it's going to happen during that keynote. We hope so, but it's certainly happening this year. And the spectacles have been probably the most full-featured glasses, AR glasses in the market in the last few years. The last version was kind of bulky and pretty big, especially when you look, in profile. But
Mm.
what they promised for this year is glasses that are better, so wider field of view, probably um, better interaction, but also look more like regular glasses. And I think if they are able to deliver on this, and the price point is going to be reasonable, they can have a huge impact on the market, on the high end side of AR glasses, because there's still going to be room for AI glasses, kind of like the Meta Ray-Ban and some of the others. But on the high end, when you want to be able to have, a display with full interaction, with 3D content embedded in the real world around you, these spectacles could actually deliver on that. And like I said, it's all going to be about how good the tools are, how good they manage the community and the ecosystem. And I have to say, Snap has been probably building one of the best ecosystems out there, with kind of the way they work with developers, they encourage them, they provide the tools. It feels like they're doing the right thing. So I think they have a great potential to really build an ecosystem of around their platform that builds content that is relevant for everyone out there.
I agree. I think they've got the potential to become one of the true sort of leaders in the space. In a market that's still in its era of defining itself. And wouldn't that be brilliant if they did make that announcement there at AWE? I hope they do for you. It'd be a fantastic moment. Okay, let's switch our attention over to enterprise buyers, which make up a healthy portion of my viewership here at the XR Beat. What are enterprise buyers and operators paying more attention to now when they look at XR technology?
So, like I said, I mean, I think it's not so much a question of what is this good for? What is it's just a cool technology, just a shiny object? I think that stage has passed, and now it's really about, okay, now we've proven that it's really useful. How do I scale it across the board? And some of the leading use cases are still, training is by far the number one use case. You see that in every single industry, and it's always reducing cost, improving knowledge retention. So it's a no-brainer to use it for training everywhere. From how to train a worker on a line, or a manufacturing line, or a person in kind of an interview, or pilots. So it's really across all verticals you can think of. And then the second one, which is now emerging to be maybe even bigger, is digital twins. So this ability to create kind of a replica of a real world object, factory, room, building, whatever it is, and then being able to augment it with real-time data, with interaction, with monitoring, and that can be used for so many different aspects of any business out there. So these two are kind of the leading ones, and again, I think on training, it's pretty much we know how to do it. There are the tools out there. There are a lot of companies that are building training. So that's sort of a solved challenge, if you will. On the digital twin side, there's been kind of a amazing progress with Gaussian splats, kind of completely changing how we think about reality capture, simplifying it, and with the AI tools, all of a sudden you're able to do like 1,000 times more than we were able just a few years ago. But then connecting it to your business, kind of through all the different systems, the data, that's kind of something that I think a lot of companies are still working on, and kind of trying to package it as an enterprise solution. If you think about ERPs in the 90s, it was kind of about packaging different solutions and trying to connect all the different systems and data that you have in the enterprise to make it more operational, more useful. I think we're now doing something similar, but on a 3D level, connecting reality with the digital world in the form of the digital twins. So I think a lot of the discussions that you see in enterprises is around these topics.
And I wrote an article recently that covered VR training, also warehousing, guided work, digital twins, collaboration, that kind of thing, just to kind of pull two threads together that we've been talking about. Do you think smart glasses themselves have a place within the enterprise in any significant way moving forward, or are we kind of still waiting for use cases there?
So I think first of all, it's important to know that one of the big challenges that are enterprises are facing today is what to do with the fact that HoloLens has been retired and there's still no clear replacement for those glasses. And they've been building use cases for HoloLens since it came out in 2016, and now all of a sudden it's like those use cases are built, they're well defined, the value is clear, but there's no glasses to replace those. So on one hand, you have a whole new slew of new companies that are building enterprise grade glasses to replace that. Some of them are targeting both the defense industry and the enterprise industry, some more rugged devices. But you could also see smart glasses or AR glasses that look like regular glasses, maybe even the spectacles or other glasses that are coming out that could be useful for at least certain types of use cases within enterprises. Even the Meta Ray-Ban AI glasses are now being implemented for certain enterprise use cases where you need, you don't need a display, you don't need like a heavy kind of interaction, but it's still very useful for people, people in the field, people kind of trying to understand kind of what's happening with their factory or business or supply chain. And these glasses are already helping. I don't think it's so much a question of what are the use cases, but it's really about implementing it in a way that is, on one hand, working well and delivering the value, but also how do you scale it? Because having one pair of glasses for yourself is easy, but what if you have to manage 1,000 pair of glasses? That's a whole different story. And the kind of the management tools for these kind of large deployments are not where they need to be. There's a whole bunch of companies that are kind of targeting that specific sector, kind of how to manage large deployments. And I think these startups could have a lot of opportunities in the near future to grow and help with that challenge, because the big guys are not so focused on that part, which is a bit of a shame, but also an opportunity for the startups to come in and really provide those solutions.
Yeah, a gap in the market. Yeah, it's easy to imagine the potential, isn't it? And where the industry could go and what the use cases could be. But like you said, the implementability, the scalability, and the management tools around it, they have to be there. The kind of less glamorous side of XR, I suppose. Okay, one bonus question, and then I will let you go, Ori. So if we look back 6 months or so after AWE, what would you want people to still be talking about? And what do you think, people will have taken from the event and will have become significant in the market?
I think the theme, iSpatial, is not just for this year. I think it's something that will be with us for the coming years. And if initially it's just, kind of a fun way to contradict iRobot with iSpatial, I think it becomes sort of a mission for how do you restore human agency in AI world, something that will only become more and more challenging as we give more and more responsibilities to AI and to robots. I think the ethical questions around it and the human questions around it, how do you keep humans somewhere in the loop, will continue to be a big part of the discussion moving forward. And I think, hopefully we kind of plant the seeds this year with not just, with a lot of excitement around the new products and the new software, but also thinking how we kind of create this new world that is an alternative to the AI-driven world with no humans involved in the process.
Ori, that's brilliant. Thank you so much for taking the time. AWE 2026 looks like it's arriving at a really interesting point for the XR market with, smart glasses, spatial AI, enterprise adoption, and developer platforms all moving at the same time. So once again, thanks for joining me and the very best of luck with the event, Ori.
Thank you, Luke. It's been awesome to be here.